Hi everyone. I don't know how long this is going to be, but as always, I'm having a lot of problems with my phone. Anyway, let's start with shelters for animals. Um, One, I like to know who gave these ones the right to take an animal's life because you know, because they don't get adopted quick or they're elderly or whatever. I like to know. Um, I mean, maybe put out there all of the animals to let people know how many animals you have. Also, look into people, like really look into them, you know, see how they act around them and all that. I mean, I'm glad they return them back, but you have some that just leave them, you know, in the middle of the street or highways and etc. because they're tired of them or they couldn't handle them, you know, to bring more people in, put balloons out and say, hey, make sure that people visit all the time. And instead of, putting, oh, just this section when people walk through, make sure that they look at all of them instead of certain ones. That's why all of them don't get adopted. I mean, it's like, instead of, I get, I call it murder, but killing them or whatever because they don't get adopted, why don't you treat them like you would treat your own pet? And, why don't you think about, consider until they get adopted how they think. Oh, well, I guess it's my turn to get, what's that word? Euthanized or whatever the word is. Oh, I guess, I'm not good enough. Nobody wants me. You know, I haven't seen anyone come back here to, look at me or, whatever. You know, don't you think that they think that? Or, you know, maybe, keep them there that they're thinking, oh, wow, well, at least I have shelter. I'm not out on the street or I'm not getting killed, euthanized, or, I'm grateful that I have all this. You know, why don't you go into, an animal's mind and think that? I mean, I'm not saying all of them do that, but I'm just saying some are even, oh, nobody wants a puppy. Oh, let's, blanket, or let's mistreat it. Well, if you mistreat them, why do you have a shelter for them? If you can't handle them, stop collecting them. I mean, now let's get into, okay, as not only me, I've been saying, um, you don't know what people go through, or animals, you know, like all these traumas, you know, all the wants that people want, you know, all the burdens I carry, and etc., etc., etc. You know, you don't want any of that, but think it's okay to do whatever, to give it to someone else and take whatever is yours, right? You know, think about it. All the bullying, all the abuse, and whatever that you went through. Why would you do something, or you can't handle something? Why would you think to your think, oh, I don't want to be alone, so let me switch. Or we're talking about how they do that, or give everybody else all the problems. Let's steal all their money, hard working money, instead of trying to go out and getting a job, or you know whatever else. you know you do know that people go through mainly the same thing, you know some more than others. Some go through it longer. Some went through it since they were a baby, or some are just now, or whatever, getting started. You do know that you can't judge how someone looks, or they have a smile on their face, or whatever. You do know that some people know how to hide it, right? Some people can't handle it, like people out here who do. I'm not going to go into it, but some people do give up, and well, you can figure out with some. I could go down the list. A lot of people go through a lot, and probably told, handle it yourself. Never let anyone know, because whatever excuse they give, you know, people can't show, what problems, instead of, trying to get help, and or talking it out to help to get it out of you. That's wrong. You know, See, that happened, I don't know when, all the way back, I guess, I don't know, our great, maybe another great grandparent, ancestors, they had to do all that. This is different. You can get help, or talk to somebody who you can trust. You know, you know, People give excuses to, others, instead of helping them. You don't know how their parents treated them, or, what they did to them, because, say, it was done to them. So now you're doing it, right? Like, it was done to your parents, so they're doing it to you. How do you know that maybe, down the line, one of your parents did it to them, and now they're doing it to to your children, or to their children, whatever. So what make that make sense? You're only repeating. And take the ones who, generation after generation after generation, people talk. Oh, yeah, this family did this to us. So, to our great grandparents. And then, they did something to our parents. So now we have to get back at them and do it to their kids or to them and blah, blah, blah. You get what I mean. I mean, how does this make sense? You're only repeating. Why repeat? Why, you're adults. Why is it that you have to? I guess it's called a vendetta or I don't know, um, a grudge or whatever. Why is it that it has to continue? But why can't not one? I mean, not one break it and stand up to them and say, hey, say you love the person, and then you all meet. And then all of a sudden, they all recognized each other and say, oh, no, my kids aren't going to date your kids. And what, blah, blah, blah. You get what I mean. I'm not going to explain. But you guys really love each other. What are you going to do? Disown everybody? Everybody's going to disown each other? Why? Why is it that, whoever got mad or whatever, you have your children who love each other had no idea, right? That you guys had a grudge against each other. Are you going to ruin it for them and then have them have a grudge with each other? This way they could teach their kids or whatever. Make it make sense. How does that sound? You get what I mean? With everything is going on around the world, even now. Hearsay, lies, being told. For people to join them, to be in with it, to do whatever, risk their job in doing crap, risk whatever, their bloodlines, and and it continues and continues. When is it that someone is going to stand up and say, no, this has to stop? How is this making it better? You have to think when you wake up. Doesn't matter even if you're not strong, but people are stronger than what they think. Okay? Each person has their own purpose. Why can't anybody, get together and, make it better for everybody? I mean, it's ridiculous. So now, I said something about the vaccines. Well, even more came out. It's called Menem Spike, MN Spike, and it's M Nex Spike. That's what it's called. It's supposed to be like the new COVID vaccine that is supposed to prevent it. Yeah, okay. The others didn't. It gave it to you. This way you get immune to it, I guess. I don't know. And this isn't tested. They're going by what the other vaccines was used for. And it causes uh, myocard ditis or something like that, or pericarditis. It's for the heart, gives you heart attacks, facial symptoms like Bell's palsy, gives you fevers, vomiting, fatigue, and guess what else it gives? Cancer. And it does a lot of damage to your body. And get this, FDA approved it with no proof except going by previous vaccines. What was in it. And oh yeah, they did test it on one out of 30 ended up in the ICU. But there's more that they found out with this vaccine. I mean, and they're calling it Spike Vax. Look it up. And the hospitals are putting in there, and I explained all that. Bio something. I can't remember. I had to find that paper, but it was in the last three that I mentioned. In it's bio something. In those papers that you sign, it doesn't matter if you go in there with a broken toe or just a scratch, whatever. They have you sign this, and you don't realize what you're signing. They'll give you a vaccine that has all that junk in it. And what I said about, with the foods, they're putting it in the foods. So if you already had the vaccine and, you're going to eat something, you don't know if it has the vaccine in it or not. It's the spray that they're spraying. Now, like I said, these stores that are doing, that does it, it's supposed to be water or whatever. But no. I mean, everything I warned everyone, to let you know. But what God, Jesus, has said, and also everything, in everything, it's coming to the light. Now, what also needs to come to the light is everything needs to be brought to action by being looked into. Like, who's doing this stuff at the labs? Who is, walking in there with feces to, put in the vaccines? Who is walking into, the factories where the food is, putting that in, putting parasites in, the meats or whatever, and spraying where the animals are eating that. I mean, just saying. And what I was told. But these vaccines for humans, okay, that was interesting. What was that? Okay. And animals. The truth is out, and Spirit says, take action to stop it now. Anybody knows. People are getting sick and passing away from foods, candy, baby foods, drinks. And not only that, whatever is giving people memory loss, parasites, and it's all going in us. Lead, the metal, and vaccines, because people aren't taking them. So now they're thinking all other ways to put whatever. Now you have more than you should. Like I said, if you eat and you had the vaccine, or you eat something and then somebody mixes it up and you didn't know, and you're thinking that you're not taking the one that is has a sign saying for pharmaceutical, you know, you get more of the vaccine. I mean, you get it. One video I saw, but I lost it before it finished, and that these ones were saying they have the at this workplace who was doing it. Um, all I heard was they have all the and I said this, the non-contaminated foods and drinks and etc. And saying it's everyone or us. And they chose them. So if we take them before they take us, I mean, that's how they're thinking. So we need to take them. I mean, that's okay. I mean, we are going to take them. People need to start speaking up. I mean, Spirit is on their tail. Big time and powerful. But don't only count on that either. I mean, count on it, because they are being taken down. Everyone, whoever knows anything, start speaking up. And I've been saying this. And also, the saying goes, it's us or them. Okay. Which, like, everything else, it's being twisted. You see, it's us or them. That's for, if you need it for self-defense, but not to harm someone permanently, or take out an innocent ones to gain whatever, to forcefully give sickness and etc. Because what? It gives whoever something to do and more money. Yeah, okay. That's not how it works. And all know that. Only, you and certain ones are allowed to make memories, because you can, remember? You can enjoy whatever, all the ones, who you're around, go on trips, remember all that. But no one else can, right? You see, although the ones who went through things, grew up fast, had to work, had to build over and over to what? One day that, I'll be able to make memories, be with our loved ones, enjoy having dinners with ones, or going on trips and remembering, and much more. It's, way more, ones, all they know, all they did was work, sleep, and etc. Doing that over and over and over again. For what? What did they do it for? To have their, loved ones, friends, or whoever they see have their memories lost, can't remember anything, being sick with something, watching people pass away, and much more. Is that the plan? Okay. Well, this is what you or whoever came up with. You got people to join, believed in the lies, the luxury, that they're supposed to get, and whatever else. That lasts for a while, knowing what is about to happen to everyone and your families. And if they're not involved and they figure out what you've been doing, which they will, but you're not saying anything like that, right? You never said anything to these ones who you're getting to join you and do your dirty work, right? Okay. Okay. Well, Spirit is saying it's them or us, God's children. Guess which one it will be. The world is going to run how it is supposed to be, not bringing back all what our ancestors went through. That was bad, like the wars, being controlled, people missing, deaths out of the blue, everything that is, it's all uncalled for. And it's all from greed, jealousy, hatred, and much more. You see, again, 3 times in a row, I heard in the air. I can't remember that name of that song, and I keep forgetting to look it up, but it's from Phil Collins. That kept coming on. And I said in my recent videos what it is. and why I kept hearing it. Or, so, because who is called upon by God's instructions? It explained what is being done. Will be returned back to senders, to all of whoever. What you're making ones eat, drink, and giving, with all kinds of stuff in it. And putting parasites for more money to have people get treated for, right? Okay. Well, now you're going to eat and etc. All that. Let's see how you like it. All ones who are taking people for whatever and whatever else is happening. Well, Spirit isn't forgetting all of you either. All are being cleaned up at once, including the ones who think they're the only ones who can have a person, luxury, money, and etc. That you do by rituals, being a karmic or thief or whatever. I don't need to go down the list. Everybody knows. You see, I give these messages as I hear it. And usually I will see what's going to happen, but I usually don't want to, see all of it. And I will wipe it out of, my mind because it's sad and I don't want to see that. Well, Spirit was showing me again. And it was what I said. What is being done to everyone and whoever is doing it has all, all the curses. Now, whoever, has the good food and drink and etc., whatever, all the cures and etc. The tornado that I mentioned in my other video, is going to carry away some. And the rest, well, it was way too sad. I mean, I'm not the only one who keeps saying, take in Jesus. Your angels. And, you will, well, God, our spirit, ancestors, they see everything. They hear everything. They guide us, giving ideas we need to learn by ancestors giving us signs that they send. And I explained that in my other videos. You know, they'll it will start off this way. You'll notice that it's coming from each one, whatever. They'll send something that associates with them. You know, I mean, it's like you need to figure that out. Whatever, like I said, whatever associates with them that you remember them by, along with other things. But you need to learn how to look up the meaning of, say it's an animal, you look it up. Spiritual meaning, and then whatever you saw. I explained some in other videos, you know, with questions, yes or no. You ask them and they will answer. Like that time that I said, should I get coffee today? And I thought of one and I saw 3 signs of, you know, of that coffee. You see, God, Jesus, our angels, ancestors, I'll just say spirit, loves all of us. And it don't matter who you are, what religion you are. Jesus passed away for all of us to give peace and etc. Look it up. I don't need to explain everything. He took in everyone. He healed everyone, especially ones who no one wanted to go near. Spirit, our loved ones, are always with us, especially with the broken ones that might need a little more attention. He's always with us. And the broken ones, like I said, might need more attention than others. Even though they are around us, guiding us. If you don't get out of that mindset that someone made up a long time ago, you have to do, you know, by yourself and never ask for help because it will show your weakness. They said it. Spirit said it's lies. If you want help, you have to ask them. They just don't do it without permission, you know, unless it's out of control, you know, out of your control, out of control. But they are always with us to protect us. Always. Even if you go off the path, you lose your faith for a little bit. You know, they tried to guide you, you know, to remind you, hey, you want to come back? They don't force things. I mean, you're better off going towards the light, obviously. And like I said, naturally, you know, the light and the dark work together. Believe it or not, to help you balance each one. The dark does all kinds of stuff to make you turn to dark or whatever, do things. And then the light comes in, tries to help you but it's you. You have to choose. You know, if you know exactly yourself, and when you hear things that you know it's not you, trying to turn you and do bad stuff to get you in trouble or other things, you know to say, no, that's not me. You know, you have to learn. See, the dark and the light is still doing their job, but, not like now. Others are going into, spirit, doing all kinds of stuff, interrupting them, disturbing them. And, more and more they're letting through the portal, whatever they open up to, send to people, thinking, that they're only sending for one person or, what I mean, entity or whatever, how you want to say it. But they're opening it up where more are coming through. Because they don't know how to do it. And they shouldn't be doing it anyway. I'm not telling people, to go to the light, and, of course you're going to deal with the dark or the obstacles. Well, that's the dark anyway. And sometimes, God or spirit will throw some obstacles. You need to learn. But they only do it as much as you can handle and catch on. That is normal and natural. They don't force. So all this, you see, all those ones went up, in spirit, doing all kinds of crap instead of doing their gifts the right way and helping people, you know, as in like if they go to them or whatever, to help them learn themselves or whatever. I've been asking questions ever since I was little. And what did I get? All lies and not the truth. But people love that because more money they make, they can get, you know, sponge off of people. It's one thing having your gifts and doing it right. People will love to come back to you. But you don't do, which, you know, you see, what I experienced, and I'm not saying everybody's doing it or does it. I am not saying that. You see, I kept going back and back and back, thinking, but I didn't realize also they were the bad ones. And I didn't know. They were putting, I don't know how to explain it, but you get what they were doing crap for me to come back. Because they knew that I didn't know enough or realize it. This is what I'm saying. So if you want something, just say, ask spirit or angels or your ancestor, one of your loved ones. Ask them. And they will show you. You know, I mean, that's a small example. you get what I mean. You have to speak to your ancestors and the angels and, Jesus, whoever. As long as you take Jesus into your heart, you connect to God, you connect to your loved ones, and they will guide you. But their big thing is people need to start speaking up and stop letting people keep you in fear. It's time to bring things to the light. It's time because more and more people are quiet. More and more people are going to complain. Oh, this is going on. This is going on. Blah, blah, blah. And then just start arguing and whatever. And then they start arguing with authorities because you're getting arrested for something, um, because everybody's having a cocky attitude, you know, or, oh yeah, well, I heard this and the law is, okay, everybody should know the law, but especially authorities, but, people abuse things, I'm not saying everybody, but, you know, do things right. Expose the ones who are doing dirty, whatever else you want to say. This way, the good ones aren't in the middle where everybody is turning against each other. Don't you think that was the plan? Take families. You know that, some, I'm not saying a lot are out there. I'm not sure. Again, I don't get into people's business. I only repeat what I'm told and etc. People, families are constantly arguing. That's because somebody down the line did something for people to, argue with each other. Turn siblings, turn families, you know, they attack a certain family or maybe all of them, but they argue. They can't stand each other. And then all of a sudden, now it's repeating. Well, you did it, so now we're doing it, and now we're teaching our kids to do it, and etc. and etc. So, if this is happening in your family, or you don't like what's going on around the world or in your own country or whatever, or and you know who people are, start speaking up. Get others to speak up. Start going to the newspapers. Tell them, and the news channels. They need to start, because Spirit is really getting angry about that. Where, just to have a story, they throw things in there that are lies. You need to tell the truth. They need to investigate. We need to help catch people. And I'm not saying to put yourselves in danger either, but we need to protect each other. I mean, what I said, with others, uh, you know, I spoke about all this. But you need to know. Everybody need, and if you already know, okay? It's the ones that don't realize it. Each person is different, you know. So each gets what is already planned for each person to learn what that is. It's not taking from others. Trying to take whatever's planned. It's already planned and it's signed and sealed. No one can take anything. They think they can. You know, they might take, get some things, but it doesn't last because, spirit holds on to it and it gets returned back to whoever they took it from. But, people need to know that. But again, um, this is it for now. I have to finish a mission, to have fun with, showing who I am. Um, I'm not sure or know when I'll be back, but you know how it is. I get another message. But anyway, the mission, I was supposed to ask, a few um, to help out, but I changed that a little. I'm going to go do it myself. Um, but yeah. Anyway, that's all I have right now. But again, wake up every day with the attitude that today you're going to shine bright and go make a difference. And be grateful that you woke up. That means that you have a difference to go make. And more you say hi to people, make somebody's day, go do what you have to do. You do know more the enemies and whoever is doing crap, and more you speak up, get it out there, more they will break. And spirit is all on them because as I said in the last video, all those masks, well, they're falling off because they really didn't fit them. So they really didn't hide themselves too well. Because little by little, each time they lied or they did something, each time it loosened up, that they were trying to hide. So let's take care of it now. Because more and more hospitals are being, packed. More and more they're trying to give whatever, all the foods and stuff, whose job is it to find out where it's coming from? Let's see, they're spraying. So it's an airplane. Who does that? Who has the equipment to do all that? And who, if you see, oh, I don't know, them putting that stuff on an airplane or whatever, but they're not, I'll just say agriculture or whatever, whoever does that. Again, I'm not in this field, so I don't know who does what. I mean, so you should say, hey, why you have all this? You're not supposed to have this stuff to go spray or whatever. I mean, even you guys need to speak up. Call whoever you trust, the authorities, whoever. We need to take care of this now. Don't let people have you sit back and not say anything. For what? Do you really think they care about you? Just like I said, somebody had a video enjoying their food, and and somebody said, oh, I thought the foods, and they were like, no, not this. And then I heard a few things, but then it cut off, or I don't know what happened to it. I couldn't find it again. But you get what I mean. This is getting out of hand. Don't let people ruin us, ruin our world just for their gain. Because people, I mean, if it's, we need to come together and actually care about each other. You think all these ones who are doing all this stuff cares? No, they only care about themselves. As the saying goes, it's either them or us. It's one thing of caring, for yourself. But you also need to care for others too. And we all know what that means. I don't mean, oh yeah, let's care about it, others and all that. This way you can sponge off of them, or you could, let them help constantly, but it's a one-sided thing, or whatever. You get what I mean? I mean, there's a whole list of, people twisting things. So, I hope all this helps. And everyone, thank you for at least getting to the end, listening, and I hope all this helps, all my videos. So, do what you're supposed to do. This way it gets out there, But thank you. And everyone have a great morning and great day. Thank you. Ciao.